like to show you a little classic of magic using 4 cards, specifically the 4 aces, as you will have guessed by now. And I'm going to pop the aces down onto the table, and I'm going to keep them as widely separated as possible, as you can see like that. And in addition to those cards, we need 3 other cards for each one of the aces. Now you don't have to remember what these cards are, you simply have to be aware of the fact that there are indeed 3 cards on each one of the aces. So there's another 3 over here for the ace of hearts, and finally the last 3 for the ace of clubs. Now one of the aces is traditionally referred to as the leader ace, tends to be the ace of spades, and who am I to fly in the face of tradition? The ace of spades, as well as its 3 cards, is going to go up into the top pocket, where you can keep an eye on it at all times. And with any luck, the other cards will one at a time disappear, starting with the ace of clubs. So if you watch the ace of clubs very carefully, it goes in between the other cards in its packet. That means there are some cards above, some cards below, keeping the ace trapped in the middle, and yet nonetheless the ace completely disappears. Now when I say it disappears, you'll notice there are still 4 cards, but none of those cards is an ace. So you could say that the ace has changed, or perhaps more specifically, changed places with another card. I shall do that again with the ace of hearts. If you'd like to keep an eye on the ace of hearts this time, again in between the other cards in the packet. Very slowly the ace of hearts goes in between the others, and yet just as before, with a snap of the fingers, the ace of hearts also disappears. Leaving just one more. This would be your last chance to catch me out on the ace of diamonds. So let me leave the ace of diamonds just protruding somewhat, so you can see it up until the very last moment. There it is, the ace of hearts just protruding somewhat. If I push it down very slowly, so you really can see it up until that last second, and yet that one, like the others, really does disappear. Thank you. Now the question of course is, if the aces are not where they started, and if you don't mind my saying so, it would appear that they are not, then presumably they must be somewhere else. The question is, where do you suppose they just might be? I almost forgot. Let's have a look. That's number 1, that's number 2, that's 3, and that's all 4 of the aces. Well, I tell you what, since you like that so much, why don't I do it again? I will anyway. I'm going to actually make it go backwards this time. Like this, they do go backwards. When I say backwards, what I mean is that this card is no longer an ace. Funnily enough, nor is the second one, nor even is the third one. The only one that's still an ace is the ace of spades, which is the one that started here, because over here where it started, that would be the ace of clubs. Over here where it started, the ace of hearts, and finally, that would be the ace of diamonds. Thank you very much.